What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 282 of Opinions May Vary. I am your host, JR. I have my co-host with me, Alex.
Hello.
It's a good night. It's
Yeah.
just a good night.
Yeah.
Joining us this week is our friend Kris Kehasukjaren. Kris is an artist based way out on the west, and he was kind enough to join us. Kris, thanks so much for coming on tonight.
Yeah, no problem, man.
We briefly met Kris last year at Boston Comic Con. I know myself and Colin and was Joe wasn't with us
Right.
that time.
Yeah.
But we really dug your artwork. We like the collage aspect of it. To quickly describe it, it's like taking elements of some of your favorite possibly shows or games and just like putting almost every character into this like really well collage, and it's the way it's spread out, and I love the colors in it, and I love how like some of them form shapes. Like the Dragon Ball one is Goku's head. It's a silhouette but made of the storylines. It's really neat work, so thank you for joining us this week.
Yeah, no problem.
One of the things we really dug was getting just to walk up to your booth last year at Boston Comic Con, and then seeing that you had a really nice sized crowd at San Diego Comic Con just a couple of weeks ago. In fact, enough so that you needed a line break with a sign holder saying, "Oh, we have to let the crowd get by because you're blocking the flow of crowds. So line up over here and then move forward." If anyone's been to a convention where that happened, like it's important to make sure you have some flow in the passersby.
It was really nice. Yeah, it was a super hectic weekend, and I was kind of put in the corner there. So once my crowd started growing, it would get in the way of my peers and my neighbors, and so um, yeah, it just kind of happened that way. It was just a good solution for everyone, just so that everyone had a fair chance. So.
I was able to peruse your little about piece on your website on Chaosic, and you're also on Instagram. And I was looking through your FAQ.
Mhm.
Um, and are you mostly self-taught for Photoshop? Is that what I saw? Because you took some traditional like art classes.
Yeah, I actually just started Photoshop maybe 3 years ago, I think, 2.5, 3 years ago. Um, yeah, I mean, before that, I was mainly just pen and ink. I used to use like markers, acrylics, colored pencils, really anything. Um, but it was just really hard to. It was just kind of a hassle to always be buying supplies and testing things out, and just kind of wasting paper. So I transitioned into like the digital medium, and steep learning curve, but I mean it was really fun. I feel like there's just a lot more freedom when you paint with these programs. So yeah, it's been really good.
Was that more for I guess a practice aspect, or more as in like a I am aware that in the future I'm going to want to sell prints of what I make, and this is the best way to make those compared to when we see artists doing sketches or inking at a con or doing commissions and paintings and whatnot. Um,
Yeah. So that was definitely one of the things that I considered when transitioning. Just before that, I was just doing these small like acrylic paintings for people, and once the demand got higher, it was just really hard to keep up. So I was definitely looking into doing prints and just doing something that um, I could like spend more time on, and that way everyone would receive something that is like well crafted versus me just trying to pound out as many paintings as possible. Um, but yeah, so that was definitely one of the things I considered, and I knew that uh, like the painting reproductions, they kind of lose their just some qualities like the color quality or the texture or whatever,
mhm.
and so that's why I just thought maybe this would be a good solution. Um, yeah. yeah, so it was definitely my mind when I made the choice.
One thing that really like intrigued me is like because when you're walking down an aisle, like at a convention, like Boston, for example, you're walking down. It's easy to just like you can glance at something and keep going. You can glance at this next thing. You can keep going, but like it was let's I glanced at this thing and then I went to keep going, but then I had to glance again because there was it's like wait, what was that? Because like you catch one thing and then you see just how much there actually is that you put into just one piece, and like you would think that like cramming that much stuff it would just be like an eclectic met, but like it flows. Like is there like a process to that, like making it, because like people are doing like, and you have to see these things to really know what we're talking about. But like on these collages, like they flow, they work. People are it's not just people standing there doing like
Yeah.
they are doing things. Like, is there a process to how you come up with that?
I guess it depends on the type of piece. So far, I have these like three concepts that I've been doing for this past project. So I kind of characterize it by character piece, worlds, or like some sort of silhouette. And so each process is different, but most of the composition is pretty intuitive for me at least. One of the ways I at least keep them cohesive is color, and so just by restricting my color palette, it really helps keep the piece contained and also seem not too cluttered or eclectic or whatever. It
Mhm.
just like um, that way. By using a limited color palette, it actually really helps just to create like patterns from things versus just like a gumball machine of stuff, you know, just like a bunch. So yeah, that definitely helps. And for me, I took a this one color theory and composition class back in college, and I never really paid attention. But the one thing that I really took from that class was they used to make us do these like little collages
Mhm.
with cutout paper, and I really like that process. So I kind of have a similar process even within Photoshop. So when I do like these little when I do these little like color blocks or thumbnails, I usually like to separate the pieces. That way I can kind of move them around and try to figure out where they would kind of fit like a puzzle. So yeah, I think those two things usually help the most. But other than that, it's pretty intuitive, and I try to yeah. At the end of the day, I'm just using my judgment of what I think would be too much or too little,
Mm.
or where I can push things.
How many like layers would you end up with for a finished piece?
So the character ones are usually the ones that take me less time. Those ones, I think they have somewhere between 600 to 800 layers,
Oh my god.
Good lord.
and those take me about maybe a week. Like sometimes they take less, sometimes they take a little more, but around that time usually. So about yeah, like 40, 50 hours maybe.
Yeah, I'm as you're saying like the way to lay out things and having some of the colors like match. I can tell that on the Death Note piece I'm looking at and also the Kenshin one. Uh
Yeah.
but at the same time like I love the Dragon Ball piece in the Smash Brothers or the Super Smash World because like there's just color everywhere. And like I'm color is something I'm not good with. like honestly I'm just some schmuck that does makeup for Halloween and I like using color, but I'm not good at it. And when I see someone else who can who's really good at this kind of thing, I'm really impressed by it. But
Thanks, man. Yeah. Um, the color's a weird thing, man.
It's like you don't, because like, oh, I can, yeah, I can draw. Like, cool, you can draw. Now how are you with color? Well, I'm terrible. um but like it's cool, like just looking at the Dragon Ball piece, which obviously I think was like the main one that caught
yeah,
most of our attention, because we're all, I mean, we all grew up with Dragon Ball. Like that's like the show, watching it on Toonami like every single day. Like
Mm.
when I remember I went on vacation and I had to figure out how to set my brother's VCR to record every day at the same time
Huh.
and make sure I had enough tape
Yeah.
to last for the week. So because it was right in the middle of the Frieza saga, and I didn't want to miss because I thought I knew that Goku was gonna go Super Saiyan, and I did not want to miss it. But like even just looking at like the Dragon Ball, like there's everything's it like tells a story.
Yeah.
Like you see like every aspect of Dragon Ball. Like it's like, oh my god, it's the Ginyu Force, and then there's the pods that the androids were in, and that like you see
There's Boo and yeah.
yeah, like it's like it's you essentially get like the whole, and it even goes like all the way up at the top. You get like the newer stuff with Beerus and like the Super Saiyan gods and the Golden Frieza or whatever that was. I haven't seen that, unfortunately. I'm a bad fan, but like it like tells the entire story because not only is it really neat and it like appeals to the nostalgia, but it also like I could sit down and like my wife would humor me, and I could be like, okay, I'm gonna tell you the story
Tell
of
her the
Dragon
whole
Ball Z,
story.
and I would just like
You
essentially work my way up the
This
picture.
is the timeline.
It's really incredible. Essentially, that was a really long-winded story of me saying, "Hey, man, your Dragon Ball thing is really cool."
Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Dragon Ball. That was definitely my first anime, and uh, when I finally thought to make the piece, I really couldn't choose what aspect I loved of Dragon Ball. I really just loved everything about it. So I definitely want to make something that encompassed that feeling and that idea. And I hadn't really seen anything like that before. Just as a fan,
Mhm,
like
mhm.
just as someone that really loves Dragon Ball, I never really seen um, someone do it like this, and so I just thought like, well, I have the skills, so why not?
Right, right.
Have you modified this since Boston of last year?
No, I've had that Battle of Gods and Resurrection of F since then. Actually, most people just don't notice it since Super wasn't too big. So
Right.
Right.
yeah,
Because I thought at one point, like, that you hid the Dragon Balls in the picture somewhere,
yeah, I did.
but they're all lined up at the bottom. Are they also hidden too?
Pay attention, Alex.
Yeah, no, the Dragon Balls are actually hidden in the piece.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're hidden throughout the piece, just in like different little sections.
Yeah, you can
I try to make it somewhat difficult, but if you look, it should be okay. And then if anyone has a hard time looking for it, then I put like a little answer key, and I put the answer key inside Bulma's Dragon Radar, since in the show they Dragon Radar. So I thought that'd be cool just to kind of be able to mimic that same function. So
Mhm.
yeah.
So aside from catching you at shows or conventions or having, finding your art there, you do 1 day sales once in a while.
Yeah.
Is there like a reason behind that?
Mainly just because I'm always traveling. So I used to have like a shop that was just always open online, but it was just really difficult because sometimes I'm in a different state or a
Yeah.
different country, and it's just super hectic. It's hard to tell someone like, "Hey, I really appreciate you finding my shop randomly, but I'm in a different country, so it's gonna be a while before you get it." So it's just like it's just better logistically for me to just kind of like funnel everyone
Mhm.
to just like one time where I know I have a week off to be able to like answer questions and like ship everything and just deal with any problems that come up with shipping. So
Mhm.
that way they receive like the best experience possible. So I don't want to. It was really hard for me to juggle everything. So
From from an outside standpoint, like watching the last one happen, which came recently after San Diego, but you made the announcement, and I was like almost watching this countdown on the Instagram of and like saying, "Oh well, this piece is sold out, and there's only 11 hours left in the sale," and then afterwards, you did a really cool thing for the rhymes with pear, which I thought was equally great.
I missed out. What happened?
So
What is
so
that? I
so
missed
at so at the checkout page, once you bought something, he's
Yeah.
like, write it in a word that rhymes with pear. And then he would like made an additional like little piece that embodied your word
Huh.
and sent you like an extra picture. So like I think anyone that put down care got like a Snoopy picture,
Yeah,
and then some heirs got Avatar stuff, and there's and there on the Instagram there's a whole like gallery of
Right,
like
right.
all these different pieces, and I was like, that's it's extra and it's fun.
And you don't have to do that, but you chose like it makes it even because like these people are like into the work because oh hey that's neat, but like it's like that extra step,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's
Mm-hmm.
just rad.
yeah. Thanks. I mean, like, I really enjoy doing that stuff. Actually, for pretty much all the sales, I've done at least a little something, and I just never really made it public. Just never felt the need to. But then this time, um, it was the first time I asked this question, just honestly for fun. It was like 10 minutes before I opened the shop. I'm like, hey, this would be kind of funny if I did this, and it wasn't really like thought out or anything. I just thought like, I think this would be kind of funny, and so I put that little question, what rhymes with pear. Um, that when people check out, they could, write whatever word. And I was just kind of curious to see, like, what words people would put down and how many people would put the same words and how many people would put a word that no one else put. And it was just kind of like a really nice, like, survey, I guess, kind of like how people think and like the associations that they make. And so, honestly, that part was just really interesting to me. And then it was just like a really nice creativity exercise just to because like a lot of people ended up putting same words and so like I think the most common one was bear and I had like tons of it like a lot and so I just thought like man that'd be really lame if like everyone got the same thing just because I don't know it seems a little lazy so I decided to find like a bear a popular pop culture bear for every time someone said or wrote down the word bear and so I actually ended up I think I have at least over 40 different characters but then after a while I'm like this is getting like super obscure like I'm looking for like featured bears in like Adventure Time and just like no one's gonna know so of course I started repeating some of them just because I thought like if I were to receive this gift and there's a little drawing of something I kind of want to know what it is so I had to repeat some of them, but yeah, for the most part, everyone that wrote down a word, even if it repeated with someone else's word, I try to do something different at least, or like keep within the theme or something. So yeah, it was really fun. Yeah.
Is there a piece that you know because obviously like there's a lot of like cartoon anime you know and you reference it on your site as well like your influences and so on is there a piece that like or rather like a show or a genre not necessarily a genre what's the word I'm looking for like a like one particular piece that you are like that you want like that's on your radar like I want someday I'm going to make this piece about X this thing whatever it may be.
Oh, I have tons. I have so many. I have a really long list of things that I want to draw. Uh, some people might have heard this already just because when people ask like tell them and some of them I've like been saying it for maybe like a year
Hmm.
and I still haven't had time to do it um, but one I really want to do is Harry Potter
Yep.
I'm a huge fan of Harry Potter and I have this idea for it which I think is pretty neat so I'm just hoping that one day I can do it
Right, right.
But yeah, I mean, there's tons. I'm currently working on a Street Fighter piece
Ooh.
because I love Street Fighter.
Really?
Yeah, uh, working on a Street Fighter piece. I'm planning out a Naruto piece and a One Piece
Mhm.
piece
Right.
that looks or is the same concept as that Dragon Ball one,
Okay.
and so we're supposed to kind of go as like a triptych, just because those three series really influenced me as a kid. So I kind of wanted to keep them within like the same format. Um, what else am I don't know. There's a bunch of stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you get any fans that will challenge who you've included in a piece?
What do you mean?
So like if someone were to look at your Rick and Morty and they go, "Oh, you put in scary Terry but not bird person. What's up with that?" You just go, "Relax, dude."
Yeah, I mean, it happens occasionally. Usually people are pretty chill about it.
Yeah.
Um, but sometimes they'll ask why. Like, oh, why didn't you put this person, or like for that piece, like why didn't you put Mr. Meeseeks, or why didn't you put this or that? And like sometimes the answer is really simple. It's just like I honestly just couldn't fit him in. Like like sometimes the character just throws off the composition,
Okay.
and so for me, like I try to find like a healthy balance of both. Um, so yeah, I'll have like an idea of how I want it to feel as a piece, and
Hmm.
sometimes like that character, his personality is just so strong that it kind of derails the like what else is going on in it, and
Hmm.
so sometimes I don't include it. Um, yeah, sometimes honestly I forget too. There's also that.
Especially with the amount of characters in some of these shows, like
Yeah.
some of these genres and so on. Like there's just it'd be impossible to just remember every single person, and let alone make room for them, make them work in the piece. Um, but like when you because we had spotted you at Boston last year. From what I understand, um, you're not going to be at Boston this year. Is that correct?
Yeah, I actually have another local show that I normally do. Um, so a friend of mine is actually going to be there for me. But he's great. His name is Jack, and he's helped me many times before, and he's been helping me out this year. And so chances are some people actually might have seen him at the show
Mm-hmm.
rather than me. But him and I actually kind of look alike. We actually look like brothers, and it's not even like a racist Asian thing. We just happen to be two Chinese dudes that kind of look alike, and so a lot of times when people see him at a show, they usually come back to me and say like, "Oh, I saw you here in this city or this place," and I'm like, "Oh, I haven't been there yet." Like,
No, you did not.
so I mean, like even my college friends, when they see him, they kind of mistaken him to me sometimes. So um, I don't know. That just kind of happened that way.
That makes me nervous now. Was it you that we met at Boston last year?
Yeah, no, that was for sure.
All right, good.
Well, now this year we're just gonna have to keep an eye out and make sure that this Jack person is not trying to take credit.
Oh
Like
yeah, for sure. Yeah, you better make sure to keep him in. Yeah, if you see him at Boston, just, say hi and tell him that Chris is watching. Make sure
right.
to let him know. Just, yeah, and you guys need to come in at different times too. So like that way he just thinks like, oh crap, there's like more than one person in Boston watching it.
Like a bunch of people have told me that you're watching me.
but also but also buy some art and doing
Yeah, that too.
um
Uh,
the pieces that are up now that are finished. Um, are there ever like plans to do like different versions of what you already have? Like should like I want to do a season one of this anime and become different from a season three, or like you have Super Smash World, but would you ever think of like doing well? I'll do a brawl and then I'll also do what's one of the other ones?
Melee.
Thank you.
Or even like
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, for sure. I mean, the so the ones where it's like more character focused, where there's like a main character in the centerpiece,
Hmm.
uh, those ones I did section off by seasons. So I did leave some room just in case I want to expand on that same idea or that series. So yeah, there's ones like the Naruto one or the Hunter one, the One Punch or Rick and Morty or Simpsons or anything, yeah, those ones I can definitely expand on, and I'd probably use a different character to be highlighted, and then just kind of proceed with the story. Um, but then sometimes like when I like really love a piece and I know I can draw it forever, I usually kind of push it more towards like the Dragon Ball piece. So like something where I feel like I could probably do like 30 pieces of this thing, and I'm pretty sure people are gonna get sick of me doing it. So I'd rather just like everything I wanted to say in that one image. That way, it kind of works out for both people. Like your house isn't gonna be cluttered with all my work,
Yeah.
um, and you get something uh, that is concise and yeah, and like concise and unique. And so usually like something like Naruto, I really do want to do something large scale. Uh, that way, it's more cost effective for people who want to support. Like
That's kind.
yeah, I mean, like I don't want to. It make yeah to me it makes no sense to just charge you for a lot for like one thing. So it to me it's just cooler if you have a bunch of things that are different and they provide different things, but they kind of like all match together. So that's kind of what I went with when I started this little project.
Mhm.
Um, that way, yeah, it doesn't take up a lot of your wall space or anything, but it definitely conveys the things that I want it to, and I try to like really put a lot of ideas in it. So that way, I don't know, you can always just like unfold it every time you're looking at it. So
Was there a moment as an artist where you decided like I'm going to make money off of this? Like, is that usually the hope from the beginning of like this is my talent, this is what I want to do for the future? But like, is there something where you realize like this is it, this is what I'm going to start selling to make a living off of?
not really actually. I've had like a really weird long journey, but the short version is I basically took like a 7 year hiatus from drawing, and kind of went through life, and then one day I just kind of decided like I think I need to just kind of like accept who I am and what my skills are, and so I was just thinking in my head like what can I personally do to like serve the community or do something to actually be helpful or make some sort of impact. And so it kind of just came down. I was just going through the list, and honestly, the list isn't too long. And so uh, for me, one of my only strengths is drawing, or at least like the one that really stands out. And that's just been obvious since I was a kid. And so I just kind of thought about some ways that you know, I just kind of thought about what I could do to use my art to somehow help people, and um, and yeah, and so that's kind of how it began. When I first started, I was doing these like free portraits on the street. Um, so kind of like the little thank you notes. I used to do that. I used to just set up on the street, and I had a little sign saying like free drawings, and or free portraits, and people would just stand there, and I would draw them on the spot. And they're really quick, maybe like 5 minutes each person,
Huh.
and I just had like a little jar for tips. I was doing it mainly. Uh, I was doing it mainly more as like a service, but then you have to live too. Oh, actually, no, that's not right. Someone actually went and got me a tip jar. There we go.
Huh.
Because yeah, they want they were really grateful, and they were just like this is really fun. Like you I don't know, you did something that made me happy, so I just want to be able to repay you in some way. Like some people would be like, hey, do you want a beer, or like
Uh-huh.
can I get you food? And it was just like it was a really nice like exchange where like I was able to do something for someone, and they wanted to do something for me, and so um, that's actually how this all kind of started, and then it's just kind of developed from there. Um, yeah, so it was. I never really set out to make money actually, but then things grow, and then people support you, and then you know I just I feel like, oh, okay, well, since now they're supporting me, this is a bigger responsibility, and so I take that money and I pour it back into my work, and so it's just like the cycle. And so um, I've been able to get here just through everyone's support, and yeah, whenever they support me or buy something, yeah, I try to pour it right back into the art because I know that's what they're here for, So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's just like a cycle. It's just like a little like ecosystem, I guess. Um, but nothing too like, yeah, I wasn't really like set out to like make any money or anything.
Right, right.
It's great
I mean,
when someone, says like, you did a cool thing and I think you deserve to get paid for doing it, so I'm going to go out of my way to make sure that happens. That's awesome. Good.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It was nice. Like it was nice, and I mean, aside from just like you know money, like everyone's like reactions and the responses just um, I don't know. It kind of like just made me feel like I was on the right path, or like I was just doing something nice for someone else, and
Yeah.
that's always a good. So yeah.
All right.
With Boston coming up, like literally in a couple days, you mentioned that your friend's going to be there, with your work. Is there anything else coming up that people who maybe even out on the West Coast, those few listeners out there, like, do you have anything coming up where people can check out your work?
Yeah. So I mean, we do travel a lot. Um, Sometimes I'm pretty low key about it. I just I usually just announce the big stuff just because it would just look really spammy. I'm doing. It's just like, man, does this guy have a life? Like, but some big shows. Let me check real quick. What am I doing? I know the next big show I'll be doing on the East Coast is New York Comic Con, so
Hmm.
that should be fun.
With the condensed artist alley this year.
Is that right? Is that what they're doing?
Are you in Artist Alley or are you in somewhere else in like on the show floor?
Yeah, I'll be in the vendor hall. I've
Oh,
been in
okay.
the vendor hall
Oh,
three,
yeah,
four.
yeah. Apparently they're doing like construction or something this year. So
Yeah,
like,
the Artist Alley used to be in this section in the like the north building, and that's getting renovated. So now Artist Alley is in a different basement section, and it's half the size.
so people have been getting no thanks but no thanks this year a lot.
Mm, yeah,
A lot of
Oh
people.
no.
It's yeah, yeah, kind of.
including learning what artists that are normally there that didn't get the cut.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. But regardless, you're gonna be we will be at New York, which is obviously one of the biggest.
Yeah, it's a really fun show, and it's really one of my only times in New York. I don't really make it out to the East Coast often,
Mhm.
um, mainly because of the just like the slight time zone change always throws me off.
Yeah. The biggest time zone change I've ever dealt with myself was an hour, and that ruined me for like 12 hours. It just destroyed
Right?
me. I can't
Yeah.
imagine like literally going forward in time or back. What is it? Coming from
Time
West Coast?
traveling.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
time travel. That's what it is.
Like, actually, I did a show in Dubai back in August,
Really?
and it was like an 11-hour time difference. And that it was like I like got off the plane and then I set up and then I worked for. I mean, I did. I was at the show for like 10 hours or something, and I think like maybe 3 hours into it, I was just like dying just because yeah, everything's just off. I'm like, it's like 5 in the morning right now back in LA, and I'm dying.
You've
But
already had your day, and now you have another day.
so, yeah, those time zone changes are pretty rough. So that's usually why stick to West Coast, just
Mhm.
because um, keeps me sane. But yeah, so New York is one of those ones. I'll be on the East Coast. West Coast, people can check me out pretty much everywhere. Um, I do a lot of the local shows. There's like a night market that I do. It's called 626. I'll be at Crunchyroll. We'll be in Hawaii in August. San Francisco in September. Yeah, we're just traveling all over. But they can actually just follow me on Instagram. It's at Kehasuk. That's Kehasuk. Or you can follow me online through my website. It's www.kehasuk.com. That's Kehasuk. Um, so usually I'll post things about where I'll be occasionally. Yeah. You can catch me then. Come find me.
And when the next online sale might be.
I think it's actually
Right.
on the site. I went to the shop.
Yeah.
And I think it's listed there, so you can keep your
Oh,
eyes
it is?
peeled. Yeah,
Oh.
24-hour sale number 4, November 1st.
Mark your calendars.
Keep your eyes out and
Yeah.
pick up the work. But I gotta say, Kris, I know we're on limited time here. I gotta say thank you so much for giving us part of your night.
Yeah.
And it was a really real pleasure being able to actually like learn more about your work. It's I can't wait to spend money at your booth in a couple days. So, but I gotta say, best of luck with all the shows. Maybe we'll catch you in New York once October hits. And have fun in Hawaii. I mean, that sounds rad. But thanks again, man. It was a real pleasure for coming on, and thanks again for carving out some time out of your night for us.
Oh, for sure, no problem, man. Make sure to tell Jack that Kris is watching.
Yes,
Make sure.
Will do.
Kris
He's
is
a really
watching.
good friend of mine, so make sure to mess with him. So.
Oh, you can count on us. But all right, Kris. Again, thanks so much for coming on. This is a real pleasure, and best of luck. Everything coming up. Keep your eyes peeled for the midnight sale. Check out the website. Check out the Instagram. It was a lot of fun. Thanks again.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks.
All right. So thanks, huge thanks again to Kris for joining us. And now that all this convention talk has gotten me even more excited for Boston, which is literally happening. By the time I post this, it'll be tomorrow. Boston will be happening tomorrow, the day after. And then if you're listening in the future, Boston happened. Maybe next year you can go. But now that we are because I'm pretty excited. I know you're kind of excited.
I'm pretty excited.
A
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah.
Has the research started?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just combing the site, like
Mhm.
taking notes. Yep.
Seeing what I have of who and what I might want to hit going to the bank. Don't do the ATM the day of the show. do the bank before.
Yeah, go to your own bank, avoid the fees, avoid the lines.
Yeah, yeah.
But now that we are so excited, I'm also interested to find out who else is excited.
Mhm.
So we're gonna do a little segment here and find out who's excited for Boston Comic Con. We're gonna try to reach out to some friends here
We'll see. Yeah.
and see who might be excited.
If you see either of us, there's a good chance.
Hey, what's up, Alex?
Hey, Colin.
What's going on?
Not too much. We have a question for you.
All right, I might have an answer for you.
Do you want?
Hey man, how excited are you for Boston?
I am fucking amped for Boston.
Good.
What are you the most excited about for Boston Comic Con?
Probably hanging out with you guys and my girlfriend at the same time.
Good answer.
That'll
Good-
be like a first.
I don't know if we're legally obligated to tell you that we're live on Opinions May Vary right now, but
No fucking shit! What's up, listeners? Be on the show. What's going on?
We're doing
Hey,
a segment
last questions
called-
for me?
we're doing a segment called Who's Excited for Boston? And
Oh God, yes! I'm really good for this segment.
I'm
Am I doing well on the game?
in the what game?
In the who's excited for Boston?
Oh,
game?
so far you're winning.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
rad, sweet. So yeah, everyone listening to the show. Oh, Yosh, I didn't get to say Yosh yet, so that's a staple for the show. Also, we got some sweet cosplay coming, so look for those pics on the OMV Instagram and Facebook. We're
That's
gonna
right.
look hot and cool, and I'm not talking about the temperatures. You know what I'm saying?
I feel
yeah,
you.
you do.
I feel
yeah,
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, there
yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
What like in terms of like, is there an artist or person that you're super excited to meet, or like?
Yes, a couple things. Person-wise, I don't typically go for the celebrities, but I am excited to meet James Marsters, Spike from Buffy and Angel.
Yep.
I'm
No,
a
no,
huge...
that's Cyclops from X-Men.
That's James.
We're gonna do this again.
Have we already done it before?
We did the James Marsden. You have to go back to the catalog of old O&B episodes. We go way into it. I mean, it's and I'm really excited to meet him because I hear he's really really nice and friendly and charming, which would be super cool to chat with him. Daredevil's gonna be there, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to work up the courage to talk to him. It'd be awkward because he couldn't see me. I don't know. I wouldn't know how strange that would be.
Well, tell him that you beat up the Kingpin one time.
Yeah, I'll show him some pictures, and he'll be like, "Cool, man. $60 for a photo, please." And I'll be like, "Okay, bye."
If you could even see the pictures, that's right. I forgot about that.
He's probably never
On
heard that
top of-
either.
Yeah, right. Artist-wise, hey man, loved you in Stardust. That's what I'll tell him too. What artist-wise is Otley's there, right?
Yeah.
Ali is gonna be there. Yep.
Otley's gonna be there. I can tell him that Invincible's the best superhero comic in the universe, and I'm sad that it's ending. And I think it's just gonna be an awesome time. I'm excited to walk around, explore with you guys, see the things, read the things, buy the things, eat the things, all the things.
Those are the best
You
things, honestly.
Yeah.
Can I?
There.
Let me ask you, what are you guys most excited about? Have you already discussed this?
We have not discussed
We
this.
haven't,
Yeah,
no.
we actually just finished up an interview with our friend Chris. Remember the
Oh, nice.
artist last year at Boston who had the like the collages of like different shows.
It's a
and-
silhouette of Goku's head, but it's the entire legacy of Dragon Ball.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
And there's like the planet of Super Smash Brothers, but if you turn it upside down, it's still right side up. Cause
That's the
they're-
one.
Yeah.
I liked that one.
Yep. Yeah, we just he was just
Smash
kind
it.
enough to join us for a little bit, and we got to essentially
that's
tell
super
him
cool.
how rad he is for the better part of a half hour.
So what are you guys amped up for Boston? Particular artist?
I mean, I'm always down to tell Capullo how dope his book is, and with he's got Metal coming out, like his new book he's back on Batman with Snyder, like next week. I think issue 1 comes out next.
I did not
Wednesday.
know that. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. So he's pretty dope. I would love to meet Tim Curry, but I have to be realistic here and just know that I cannot afford it.
I'm going to bring a poster for the new It movie and have Tim Curry sign it.
Oh yeah, it's like that picture you see
Well, have him sign.
of someone handing
go
the
ahead.
Heath Ledger picture to Jack Nicholson.
Oh Jesus!
Brutal,
It'd be cool to have him sign a clue board,
right?
and then hang up, like
Ooh.
frame the board.
I kind of wanted to have him sign because I have the Rocky Horror Picture Show soundtrack on vinyl. I thought it would be cool to have him sign that. But like as far as personal item, if you want personal items signed, you have to like leave it there, and then they'll sign it later, and it's too much hassle to meet a childhood idol.
Interesting.
But
If he has Pennywise prints, maybe I'll do that. That'd be cool.
that'd be sweet. Who else is gonna be? Oh man,
I think I might try a Jason Latour piece.
really?
Yeah, I would attempt it. I don't know how lucky I'd be. More
What
throwback
movie was
jokes.
he in?
More throwback jokes. Will Ransom Getty be at his table this year?
Maybe.
Oh, he can finish some shading on my Cyclops.
Which is still
on
like
my James Marsters.
your James Marster. Yep. You know what I'm really pumped for, and I've said this countless times. to
Tony
you guys.
Harris is gonna be back.
Tony Harris is going to be there because he canceled last year, last minute.
Huh.
I believe it was last year or the year before that.
Because we
So
got
I've
him
been
when he
wait-
was still at Prudential Center.
Yeah, that was before I even knew who Tony Harris was. I had never read Ex Machina, like and I remember you getting the sketch, and I was like, "Well, who did that?" And you
Who's
were
this
like,
guy?
Tony Harris, and I was like, "Who?" And the rest is history. So, you know what else I'm really pumped for?
What's that?
Experiencing Boston in a new building.
Yeah.
This will be the
Yes.
4th building that we've experienced Boston Comic Con in.
Mm-hmm.
And
you guys
also,
have seen it through its entire growth, essentially.
Yeah.
we got there. I mean, we got there in its infancy. I think we missed out on the original location, but it started in the basement of the Westin, and then it moved to the Heinz, and then it moved to the Seaport World Trade Center, and now it's going to the BCEC where PAX happens, which is attached to the Westin where we originally went. I remember we were lined up in front of the BCEC the first year. Remember that? And it was freezing.
It was cold.
Yeah. But
Colin, did you know Nate Bellegarde is under comic special guests?
No, I didn't. Why?
I just hadn't pictured him being up there in that list. Because there's two sections of like guests, like comic guests, and like other comic guests, and like he's at the top section
in the special guests
above Steve Lieber.
Maybe
no
the
less.
special guest is doing. Maybe he has like a panel.
But I got you some Rexplode from him in the past.
I know the bloodied, like he looks fucked, dude.
So you can tell Nate that
Max Landis throwback.
You know, like seriously, that one's a good one because he also looks like he's crying in the one that you guys got me. It's awesome.
It's gonna
All
be
good stuff.
it's gonna be fun on the bun, and I'm super excited for Sinead to experience it. For those who haven't heard it, Colin's wonderful girlfriend lives over in Ireland, and he came on a couple months ago and told us all about his experience going out to Ireland. It was talked about the culture and things like that. It was a beautiful episode. I highly recommend going and checking out. She's going to be coming stateside, and we're going to be introducing her to the world that is comic conventions, and it's gonna be great.
She admittedly is very. She's met Jeremy briefly, too briefly, but she's very starstruck and nervous to meet Alex because she's a big OMV fan.
Oh, gosh.
She, you know what? She actually a little tangent. She messaged me the other day, and she's like, you know, what would be a cool career is if I did like horror movie makeup. And I was like, oh my god, I just want to hang out with Alex all the time. I don't understand.
That's
Oh
good.
yeah, I think it's gonna be amazing. I'm really looking forward to the 99 because that's always delicious and tasty. You know, great meals, great deals. The 99 restaurant.
That's all right. This show is not sponsored by the 99 restaurant.
I'm loving it.
I'm loving it.
Donovan McNabb, everyone.
Remember, guys, real champions eat at McDonald's.
So, Colin, I gotta say, thank you for the impromptu visit. We're gonna try and reach out to possibly more people who might be excited about Boston.
Sweet.
But did we interrupt any Overwatch? Was that happening right now?
No, I'm laying on the couch watching some Rick and Morty with my roommate.
That sounds like a damn good Wednesday night.
It's not bad. It's very relaxing. I gotta finish cleaning for the impending arrival of the missus, and gonna pack up some stuff, get ready, get hyped for the show. Thank you for reaching out. I was Colin.
And this has been the impromptu, this has been part one of our segment of Who's Excited for Boston.
Mm-hmm.
Colin, thanks again. We will talk to you very soon. I love you.
Sounds good. Love you guys. Peace.
See ya. All right. So now we're gonna see about part two. About who's excited, because now that we're really talking about it, I'm even more excited for Boston.
I'm trying a few more people.
A few more?
Well,
I don't even know.
They haven't gotten back to me yet.
I just, yeah, that's fair. I was gonna tell you to just ambush them, but I guess that's fair.
I'm checking in first.
We're doing like guerrilla style. We're making sure they're free, and then we're ambushing them.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that's how we do it. That's our new style.
I'm debating whether or not I want to go talk to Dan Frega.
Why debating?
Okay.
Oh right, yeah, you had told me about this.
There's some weird history that I've seen on this guy.
Yeah.
Like he's an artist. He does some cool work. He was part of like the Image early class, the 90s influx. He worked under, I think he was in Extreme Studios, or he has work similar to Rob Liefeld's, and somehow I had bought like a bulk collection of comics, and this book called Black Flag was in it. No relation to the Henry Rollins band. And there was some weird stuff in there. And I kind of want to be like, hey man, this book that you did like maybe 20 something years ago, or Yeah, 25.
Mhm.
Because we just did the Image anniversary.
Right. Yep.
So almost something like 20 years ago in the 90s. Yeah, he was putting some stuff in his comics, and I want to be like, what's the deal with this?
I want to talk to you about this.
Yeah, like, will you get angry if I question this? Like, yeah, I mean, I'm sure whatever was in it has. I'm being really ambiguous here because I don't want to call out any like terrible things.
Yeah,
and
we'll
have him
yeah
get
we'll
mad
leave it at that.
but yeah, I want to be like, has this been fixed? Like, are you still feel this way?
Right. Right.
And then he's had like he's come back to the comic field, you know, a couple different times throughout his career, and he's done like a cover here, like a splash page there. But he's also had like gigs working. I believe he was doing what's it called when you draw a movie before it gets made.
Like storyboarding.
He was doing some storyboarding and stuff, or like creative design for TV shows and whatnot. So, we have our second guest.
We may have our second guest here who doesn't know that they're a guest. We're gonna try. It's gonna be round 2
Here it goes.
of who's excited for Boston.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hey, Brett,
There he is.
you're
what's up?
you're here with me and JR. We have a really important question for you.
Yeah, sure. What's up?
What are you really excited about for Boston Comic Con?
Good question.
I will say, Brett, you are live on Opinions May Vary right now. We have
Oh, of course. Awesome.
we are ambushing our best friends and asking them why they're excited for Boston.
Ollie's going to be there, right?
Yes,
Yep.
he is.
Yep.
Oh yeah, no. Ollie's always a go-to. Matthew. Am I really going to mess up his name? There's a guy. His first name's Matthew, obviously, but he did pencils for a Doom Patrol line, like one of the new iterations that I really liked.
Mhm.
Chirello?
Matthew Fletcher. That was his name.
Oh, Fletcher.
Right.
Oh, Fletcher's been around a lot. I've seen him before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I dig him. I dig his style, and he's a cool dude. I'd like to hang out with him. I keep tricking myself thinking that Jason Sean Alexander's going to be there, but he backed out, so I don't think he's going to be there.
Boo.
I know. He's like one of my favorites. He's like amazing. He's a dude that does comic books and also does gallery shows. Like out Last Rites in New York. So he's pretty awesome.
Brett is like an artist who like gets it, and he really loves to show his appreciation. Enough so that I'm gonna spill some beans. He bought a sketchbook from I think it was a sketchbook. He bought a piece from Ryan Otley in the past, and then like didn't want his change back, and was like, "Keep it." I'm like, did Brett just tip Ryan Otley?
It was such a brilliant display of just awkward appreciation.
Was that for
Like, yeah.
the hardcover sketchbook, or was that for the softcover one? Because there's violence and pinwheels.
I think it was a softcover one. I'm
Right.
pretty sure. I don't think it was Violence and Pinwheels.
Because always violence in something, I think. But
I think it was Sheep Bites. If it wasn't Violence and Pigtails, it might have been Violence and Pigtails.
right.
Yeah, it was either Violence and Pigtails, Violence and Pinwheels, or the third, which was Sheep Bites. And either one. I think it was Sheep Bites though. Sheep Bites
Right.
was a little on the cheaper side. I think it was like 15, and I just tossed him a 20, and I was like, "Duh, keep it."
And that one had the potential for the golden post-it
Oh,
back in
that's
the day.
right.
Remember the golden post-it?
Yeah.
Which is just genius, if you ask me. But Brett, I'm glad to hear that you're excited for Boston. I'm also excited for Boston. Also because like it's been a while. Like it's like we have our shows throughout the year, and like I get my Brett fix at World's Fair.
Yeah.
I get my Joe and Colin fix at like PAX. I get my Alex and Colin fix at Kineticon, and then when Boston comes along, it's like
Voltron.
yeah, everyone we're Voltron is what I'm
really
saying.
is. Like,
We come together and we form a giant robot.
Some of the best memories I've ever had, like tabling at a convention, has been sharing it with Opinions May Vary, hands down.
Oh, this guy.
Like, come on.
I'm excited to show. Oh, sorry, Brett. Go ahead.
No, that's it. I was just gonna brag about my friends some more.
This is a good chance to show my friends, to make them witness Ken Lashley at his table.
Yep.
Because Ken Lashley's going to be there.
Yep.
And they've heard the stories. They've heard me talk about it. You really have to experience it for yourself.
He should really just sell tickets for
Like,
it's like a one-man comedy show. You just sit down and watch him just interact with people. Like it was just brilliant.
for a second, I was like, Brett, when have you seen Ken? And I was like, Brett,
He was like the genesis.
My first experience with Ken, like, Brett was watching this happen and just like biting his lip, trying not to like crack up, and watching me sweat and pull my hair out, and like this dude just playing me. It was great.
So good. That was at that was like was it that massive?
That was our first massive con. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We met Ransom Getty there too.
We did actually get to meet him. Yeah. Because that's when he wasn't going to sell a really nice Suicide Squad page.
That's right. Because the movie was coming out. And I was like, I'm out of this for a bit.
I asked for a price, and he's like, "Oh, it's not for sale until after the movie." And I was like, "Oh man!" And then we ran into Mr. Rob Zeta himself, and Rob was like, "Yeah, I told him not to sell that."
Damn it, Rob Zeta.
And then we go back to Ransom, and he's like, "Yeah, he'll say he came up with a lot of ideas."
Oh man.
Rob Zeta, who runs the Invincible fan club.
Yep. He's a good guy. Met him a couple years ago at Boston, helping Ryan Hotley out with his table. Really cool guy with a beautiful art collection. But I'm trying to think of like what else is it's just gonna be fun, man. I can't wait. Like we getting the whole Voltron together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the core, my core four, as I tend to refer to you guys as.
There it is.
Including some like extra like special weapons or attachments.
Yeah.
You could say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, it's like the blaster with the sword on it.
Yeah. It's a sword gun.
It's a sword gun.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Rob Liefeld's going to be at Boston Comic Con. Yay! But
oh boy.
yeah, super fun. What else is there to say about Boston, Brett? A lot of art.
I'm looking forward to checking out the venue change. I'm hoping that'll be a good. I'm hoping that'll be a good change. I mean, I've definitely gotten used to
the Seaport.
Yes, the Trade Center, Seaport Trade Center.
Yeah.
Yep.
Place
Sure.
for.
They're C's and they're traded for centers.
And they've been there for 3 years now. 4 years.
I think 4.
4 years.
Yeah.
They were there.
I've never been there when it's not been that.
Because we tabled there 3 times and then went last year without table. Yeah, 4 years. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
God damn. I can't believe. Yeah, the venue change, that should be super interesting at the enormous BCEC.
Yep.
You know.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna kind of have my antenna up a little bit just to see what's going on with this new ownership Fan Expo switchover. I'm cautiously gonna ease into it, but I'll definitely be looking around, just kind of being like okay.
Brett Kelly is watching Boston.
Brett will remember this for later.
Oh, make your decisions wisely.
Yeah.
That was super fun. Brett, I got to say, talking to you right now makes me miss you, and I can't wait until Friday into Saturday. It should be rad.
Yeah, I'm stoked. I got like a half dozen things I got to do tomorrow just to make sure that all my ducks are in a row. But yeah, I'm looking forward to hitting the road and getting stuff square by Friday.
It's gonna be great. Brett, are we just gonna end the? Let's just end the show with Brett.
Okay,
Brett, you're gonna have to sign yourself off like you would if you were on the show.
Oh, dude, no way.
So that is gonna do it. Big thanks to. Oh, by the way, Brett, you're actually our third guest today.
Yeah.
Big thanks to Kris for coming on and joining us and talking to us about his beautiful work. Go check out his stuff on his website, his Instagram.
Look up Kehasuk on Instagram and .com and on Facebook. Really cool
I'm
stuff.
gonna do that right now.
Like, you really have to see it to understand what we were talking about early in the episode.
Go check it out. It's beautiful. Big thanks to Brett Pride. I don't know if we actually told Brett who else was on, but big thanks to Colin for joining us before Brett. talking to us about how he's excited for Boston. And Brett, thank you so much for coming on. You guys are great.
No problem.
I'm really happy that I can ambush my friends with podcast appearances. But that's going to do it for this week. Go to Boston Comic Con. We're probably going to talk about Boston Comic Con next week a little bit, and it's going to be rad. So until then, I have been JR.
I'm Alex.
And I am Brett Kelly.
And for Chris and Colin, this has been episode 282 of Opinions May Vary.